Hello, and welcome to our show. It's Tea Talk, Real Talk, Conversations Over Tea, and I'm Sharon. And today we have three wonderful ladies. They're from the Junior League, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about what they do in terms of all the planning for Junior League. So we have Lynne, we have Mary, and we have Kate. So ladies, take it away and let us know a little bit about yourselves and, why did you get on Junior League?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'm Lynne Brennan, and I am a member of the Junior League of Montclair, Newark. Okay. And the Junior League was founded in 1901, so it's more than 100 years old. Yes. And there are over 150,000 members in 292 leagues that actually span 4 countries. Wow. So it's really one of the largest women's volunteer organizations in the world. Yes. And there are issues that we're focused on. Mm-hmm. And really social reform issues that we've been focused on over those past 100 years, really concentrate on things as, broad as human trafficking, right, and as narrow as making sure that our kids get fed, when they get to school. Right. And so really thinking about what are the problems and what are the solutions that we need to come up with to really help be advocates and to help bring everybody up to the same playing field.
Yes, yes. And I was on Junior League for around 3 years, so I'm so excited to have you ladies on here. You have no idea. I'm always talking about the Junior League and specifically SPAC, because I think what you ladies do is hard work, but it's something that it's a great investment because you're trying to help this world to be a better place. And so I am so ecstatic that you girls are on here today. I'm so happy. So.
Thank you, thank you. Well, my name is Mary Jackson, and I'm with the Junior League of East Los Angeles Plainfield. And just to tell you a little bit about SPAC, which is the State Public Affairs Committee, we comprise 8 leagues of New Jersey and totaling about 3,000 members. And we advocate on behalf of the children and women of New Jersey. And the areas that we advocate on are the areas of health, education, and the environment. Right. So we're very pleased to be here. We've been advocating for 40 plus years. Yes. And we started in the 70s.
Yes. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm Kate Lee. I'm with the Junior League of the Oranges and Short Hills, which also just celebrated 100 years. Wow. And I think one of the great things that I love about the Junior League is it's about training. It's about developing women as civic leaders. And nothing exemplifies that more than our State Public Affairs Committee. I literally think every meeting I go to, every monthly meeting is like a training. It is. I learn from these amazing people that we have who talk to us about the issues that are emerging in our state. And then we go down to the State House, we go down to Washington, D.C., and we're constantly learning, we're interacting with legislators and telling our stories and trying to convince people that they should help, whatever side of the aisle they're from, that they should help women and children in our state. And it's an extraordinary experience. So we're really living that Junior League mission, and then even connecting with state public affairs committees in other states. Yes. With our other league partners, because we are these 292 leagues, and so many of those other states have these public affairs committees. So that's great to hear what they're doing and how they're doing their work.
Yes, it is. It is. So just tell us a little bit, what made you decide that you wanted to be on Junior League?
So I joined the Junior League right before 9/11.
Okay.
That summer, just before, and I always knew that when I got to a certain level in my life, in my career, and I was able to kind of breathe a little bit, I wanted to make sure that I got really involved in the community. And I have to say, what impacted me and made Junior League just, I had made the decision before 9/11, but I went to that first meeting, which was about a week after the terrorist attack. And we were all a little fragile at that time. And there were these women, just regular women that were members, up there at the podium with their microphones saying, okay, women, we're collecting socks, we're collecting water bottles, and we're going to drive in. The only time we can get through the tunnel is at 3 a.m. We're going to take them to the first responders. We're going to help them out. And they had been doing this for, maybe 2 days after the attacks through like the first couple of months. And it was just, I was like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah, that's what I love about them. You know, just digging in no matter what. We all have families, and you leave your families behind to go and do work to help other people. And so that's really what, you know, made me join, because I said, wow, it's just a phenomenal group of women all over the world. And like you said, it's about training, but it's also about connecting with people and having, you know, just things just come to life in terms of bills and talking to legislators and things like that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yes, well, I joined 14 years ago, about the
Yes.
same amount of time, and I loved it because it really got me away from small town living. And I had been a city girl, grown up in London. Obviously, the accent will tell you that much. But then I'd lived in Tokyo, and then when we came here, we were living in the suburbs, and it just got me to the other parts of my community,
Right.
and with friends, doing things together. And I felt that really expanded my horizons. So I loved it from that perspective. But then I've enjoyed all the things I've learned.
Right.
I've been the president of my league, and I've learned how to run fundraisers,
Yeah.
which I don't enjoy, but I've learned how to do it.
Yeah.
I can, you know, balance the budget, and I can do many other things. So I
Right.
feel like I've added to my own skill set,
Yes.
which has been very important to me.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing that you say is very important about the Junior League. You might have gone in there with different skills and you come out with something totally different, and some people actually have gotten jobs because of the new skills that
Absolutely.
they've learned. So it's a great organization for that as well, you know, so. Yes.
I've been in the league about 10 years,
Okay.
and the reason I joined was I wanted to be more involved with my community.
Okay.
And I thought the best way to do it would be through a group effort with an organization. And after joining the league, I realized what a great opportunity it was for training.
Yes.
So I have been fortunate enough to go through different training modules and really feel like it's added to me, not only in my ability to give back to the community, but also my own personal
Right.
life.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good experience.
Yes, it's a great journey.
Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit more the nitty-gritty of what SPAC does. You know, so
Sure.
just really tell us a little bit more about that, because that's so important, you know, for people to know.
Sure. Well, SPAC advocates, again, as we said, for women and children on various issues in the health, education, and the environment. And we do this through advocacy. And what we mean by that is we work in different levels on that area to advocate. We work in the grassroots local level and bringing education and awareness to the local. And then we also work at the state level, working on different various issues in the legislature, passing bills to protect women and children and the issues that we're currently working on.
Right.
So we really work, you know, to summarize, just from the state all the way down to local with education and awareness.
Right. And so what are some of the issues that you ladies are doing this year?
Well, I think the one that I've been working on for the last couple of years is combating sexual violence.
Yes.
And that's something that, of course, is foundational in terms of SPAC's opinion,
Okay.
that we would like to combat sexual violence in all of its different forms, from domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking.
Right.
And there are, of course, a range of bills that are out there right now that we are researching. So what we do is we start by knowing that there's an initiative or an effort that is important for us to be involved in, protecting women, protecting children. And so we take a look at what are the bills that are being reviewed, being
Right.
discussed. We take a look at those, some of them specifically, and then we work with our community partners to understand them a little bit better.
Right.
We also deal with the legislators to find out what are some of the very specific needs that they're looking to address. And one of the things that we talk about a lot when we're reviewing bills are what is the outcome of the bill going to be, and what
Right.
might some of those unintended consequences be?
Right.
You know, are there fiscal things that we need to look at? Is there maybe an operational thing that might be an accidental aftermath?
Right.
And so we really need to dig in and make sure that those
Yes.
bills are as solid as
Exactly.
possible.
Right.
So we are knee deep right now in a
Yes.
lot of bills. There's been a resurgence because of the sexual assaults on campuses.
Yes, yes. So that's, you know, part of NJ CASA, which, how did I get on? I'm a board member for NJ CASA, and how? Through SPAC.
Yes.
You know, they
Okay.
were looking for board members at the time, and because we were doing a lot of the same things, I said, you know what, that would be a great opportunity. So, you know,
They're a
it's-
strong partner in
Yeah,
this.
it is.
Yeah.
I know that, because they've made so many different moves right now. You know, with our new president, Ms. Patricia, who's wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
that's really serious. And I like the fact that you guys really look at the bill in every way. You turn it upside down, inside out, to make sure that it's going to be a solid bill. So that's
Yeah.
great.
And the women all come that members of SPAC all come
Yes.
with different levels of experience. Some are lawyers, some are women who have gone through domestic violence. And everyone is looking at that bill with a different perspective. And I think that really that cross-discipline,
yes,
you know,
a
really
lot of
helps.
teamwork there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But what I think the end result is that when we end up talking to legislators, they respect that, number one, we're not coming with a particular agenda except to help those who have no voice.
Exactly.
And secondly, we've done our work, and that we've really done some of the work that they might have done. So they do enjoy talking to us because they think that we've really, we care and we've really done the homework. So we come knowledgeable about a topic. And I think that's one of the things, you know, when we did a lot of work on human trafficking, if you remember.
Yes.
And that was a long time in the making. We
it
started working on that in 2005. Did a conference in 2006. Then we put our own conference on in 2009.
Yes,
that was the first one that ever addressed the issue in New Jersey. Before it had been a very much more general conversation. And then we brought people around a table, did a workshop, and from that thought, you know, there is a bill here that we need to put together. We started working with the Attorney General's office. We went to our partners. We do work with everyone else we can, and we sat on the task force and talked about the bill and made it work with law enforcement. They were around the table and made this a really comprehensive bill that thought about, you know, who's going to pay for the services that we need to give. You know, sometimes it's girls here in New Jersey, they haven't been moved across borders because human trafficking can be sex trafficking, it can be labour trafficking, it can be crossing borders with foreign nationals, or it can be just right here at home. People don't even have to go down the street to be trafficked. And we need those good bills that are going to protect them, give them services. And we were so proud to work on that bill that passed in May of 2013. And we feel like it's one of the best bills in the country right now because so many people, so many of the right people around the table working on it.
And that's the key, getting the right people around the table. Because, you know, I always say, we have so many people that do the same thing, but they're not talking, there's no communication. So what you guys do is you go out and you reach out to all those partners that are doing the same thing and put them around the same table, which is so impactful. Now you can get together and just pass this bill. So that's the great thing about it. And, you know, I can hear the passion that you ladies have, and that's, again, this is why I love, and I miss them so much. So, but I'm coming back now that you said that, because it's a wonderful group of ladies that they're really, you know, it's not just about, look, being pretty, you know, we are about working and making things happen.
We can't help being pretty.
Yes, exactly, we can't. We can't. So, you know, that's really what I love about it, that the hard work, the passion that goes into this. You know, so what else are you guys working on now in terms of?
Well, we've had a recent success. There's a bill that recently passed, whereas crime victims do not have to pay fees to obtain government records, such as police reports, and also those requests are not considered to be public record. And this bill was written based on a woman who has been a victim of domestic violence, and she was pretty outraged that she had to pay to obtain government records. So in addition, when obtaining the government records, it's part of public records. So that could in fact put her in jeopardy, obtaining, you know, restraining order records and various police reports. So that has been very beneficial for the whole crime victims in general, obtaining records. That it can be done, you know, with,
that's a
being
serious
public
thing.
records.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And we're still working on the issue of human trafficking.
What's new with that in terms of what you guys are doing now?
I think we had a big push toward the Super Bowl. That was the sort of, you know, not that we ever thought there was going to be trafficking around the Super Bowl, but it was an opportunity to raise awareness because sometimes big sporting events do attract, like a magnet, for often sex trafficking of our kids, basically, our American kids, and sometimes foreign kids as well. But we wanted to protect them. We worked in raising awareness with hotels, and in two different ways. We worked with another organization that reaches out and tries to get hotels to train their staff and become part of a code of conduct, which has all that training as part of it and has a reporting line, so that everyone working in hotels, be they those people cleaning rooms or at the front desk, know what to look for. They don't confront it themselves, that's not a good idea, but then, you know, they know exactly how to report it and how to liaise with local law enforcement. But we also have a sort of more sort of motel, lower end hotel
Right.
scheme, and we're going to be doing that again in January. So,
Right.
Mary,
In fact, we are. Our target is to do the SOAP outreach in the Asbury Park area.
Okay.
So we'll be targeting around 20 hotels within Asbury Park and the surrounding areas. And again, it's very much the same technique as we did with Soap Up New Jersey
Right.
in preparation for the Super Bowl. We'll be taking posters of missing children to the hotel
Oh, great.
operators, and as a way of starting the dialogue in terms of making the operators aware of the problem of human
Right.
trafficking and what resources are out there for them in the event that they do encounter it.
Right.
And aside from that, we'll also be providing bars of soap with the National Human Trafficking Hotline
Great.
number on it to put in the rooms
Yeah.
as well. So that is part of our response to January, which is Human Trafficking Prevention Month.
Yes, yes.
So-
Make sure I'm definitely on board with that. I missed the other one because I had a couple of things that day, but I thought that was so exciting, to go to that level. You have to, like you said, the motels and training. Training is so important. I mean, like we said, sometimes even police officers don't know, and
Correct.
and it's the victims that they're,
Yeah.
that they're thinking, okay, well, these people are doing these things, and it's not really, they're really the victims that they don't know. But training is the key.
Yeah, what's interesting is we found that we had such a response from our SPAC members and our
Right.
Junior League members to participate in that SOAP
Right.
outreach program.
Okay.
And I think it's the Junior League training. We love to be academic and
Yes.
focusing on the bills,
Yes.
but gosh, give us the opportunity to get out there and really roll up our sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
It was scary going to the hotels
Yeah,
and talking to them
I-
about that,
yes.
just because it's kind of an alarming thing to do and to
Yes.
talk about. And it was fun because I think there were about 4 of us that went around, and there were many cars of 4. And we got feedback from one of the hotels saying, "Well, we can't take the soap, but I want maybe we would put the number on our own bars of soap."
Okay,
So we
great.
jumped in the car, went over to Staples, printed out some
There you go,
labels,
see?
and gave them labels.
That's it.
And hopefully
That's
they
simple,
used them,
right.
and hopefully it saved a couple people.
Yes, yeah.
Well, from the Soap Up New Jersey, I do recall hearing that from the posters that were given out to the hotel
Yes.
operators, 2 of the girls were recognized on the
Wow.
posters.
Wonderful.
And then again, the authorities were alerted. So
Okay.
it was a success.
That's a success, even if it's one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, getting the awareness.
The awareness.
is the key, because people don't know. A lot of people think when you talk about human trafficking, oh, it's in other countries, it's not here. And it's in your
Correct.
own backyard. You
And
know?
I think, it's a new term. People find it, it's been going on for the longest
Forever,
time.
yes.
But we've given it this new name and we've made it this new law. But everyone's been seeing things, but they just don't want to get involved.
Right.
And we want to keep people safe, but we want to tell them, how can you get involved in a safe way?
Right.
How can you stop your own hotel having criminal activity going on? You don't want the idea of young underage kids being prostituted in your
Right,
hotels.
exactly.
That's not good for any business
Right.
model. So we're trying to help hotels
Right.
and taxi companies.
Yes.
Feel like they're doing a good job
Right.
and they know what. They can put a name to what they
Exactly.
knew was going on.
Right,
before.
right. Because a lot of times they're just closing their eyes to it. You see an underage girl coming in here with someone that's much older. You have to know, don't just turn an eye because it's about money. It's not about money, it's about people's lives. And so, going in with the nitty gritty stuff that you ladies are doing is just phenomenal. I'm just so proud of you ladies. So any other bills or any other issues that you guys are really digging into this year as well?
Well, we are having an event in December. It's an annual event that we have. It's the Legislative Luncheon. And this year, the goal of the Legislative Luncheon is to bring awareness of poverty, poverty in New Jersey.
Okay.
And we're doing that specifically with food insecurity and hunger.
Okay.
We'll be having the Legislative Luncheon at JBJ.
Okay, no, it's okay.
I got the acronym, okay. Soul Kitchen in Red Bank.
Okay, nice.
And a guest speaker will be Diane Riley from the Community Food Bank of New Jersey.
Okay, wonderful.
And just along that note of food insecurity, the Community Food Bank has estimated that 1.2 million New Jerseyans do experience food insecurity. And of that number, only 45% are eligible for government
Wow,
assistance.
that's huge.
So it is something that an awareness can be brought to, and perhaps local and state legislation
Right, yeah,
can
that's
address
huge.
it.
Yeah, that's a big thing there.
And there was a big success. We hadn't worked on it for very long, but we've been looking at this issue for a long time. And that, you remember when you were working with us,
Yes.
Sharon, doing childhood nutrition?
Yes.
There's a bill that just got signed into law last week, which was breakfast after the bell.
Wow.
So this is now making sure that, you know, in districts where the kids are eligible to get free breakfast because they have hit the federal level of need.
That's wonderful.
That the breakfast is served after the school bell's rung, because kids were not coming to school
That's
early.
true.
Sometimes kids have to walk younger siblings to school.
Yes.
And it's just difficult for them to get there even earlier than the early time kids start
Exactly,
already
I
at
know.
school. And this has really helped in so many of the districts that have adopted it. They've seen kids' test scores go up. I mean, because they're
you
getting
can't
the
concentrate when your stomach is
Right.
growling.
Exactly, and nurses' visits go down,
Wow.
so the nurses can concentrate on the work they need to do. It's really been so beneficial. So we really hope that now more districts will take this up. Now that it's there in law, it still needs the awareness
Of course.
piece. You can't just
Of
pass a
course,
law.
yeah.
You have to get that law sort of fully through
Yes.
people's minds and
Yes.
let them know that this is something that really matters now, and
Yeah.
our kids can benefit. And it's paid for by the federal government in many cases. And in some districts, even where they don't have kids that qualify, they just bring in a breakfast program because they see it makes sense.
Yes.
They have some scheme where that it's inexpensive and families can participate, and that's been a really great thing for our kids too.
Yeah. So is there something that you ladies are doing in terms of getting the word out to other folks as well?
Well, what we're trying to do is actually get our local leagues engaged, because
Okay.
we find ourselves, don't we, we're at a sort of work at a state level, and sometimes our local leagues think we're sort of up there in the sky doing all this big
Yes.
stuff. We want to really give them
Yes.
all these good ideas of what they can do at a local level, and that's a great one for them to
course.
engage any districts near to them and to go talk to school boards and have them see that advocacy is not a scary thing.
it's not.
Advocacy is just talking.
It
It's
is.
just talking
It
about
is.
stuff. It's not just lobbying, which people think it is, and
Right.
it's about politics.
Yes.
It's not. It's about
No.
public policy.
Exactly.
It's about improving our lives.
Thank you.
And, you know, yes, sometimes we talk to politicians, but just if one of our members could talk to somebody on a school board, a neighbour, that makes all the difference. And then they're advocates too.
Yes, it's so
Exactly.
easy to be an advocate.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I like when you ladies did that on advocacy, teaching people. You know, it's just a phone call. Just pick up the phone. If there's an issue in your community, it's easy. Just pick up the phone and just say something. Talk to someone.
And we
You know,
we see our members benefit.
Yes.
Even you don't realise. You know, I remember after Hurricane Sandy, one of our members had their home destroyed, and she knew exactly what to do because she
Right.
knew how to engage with all the various community partners and all her various elected officials who could help her. So
Exactly.
she had all this training, and we've seen that time and time again, people being able to help family members say,
Yes.
oh, have you done this? Because
Yeah.
they know there's a whole set of resources out there, and sometimes we don't always take advantage of those
Exactly.
resources.
Right. Sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
So education is the key.
Yeah, it is the follow through. You know, we
Yes.
work so hard to get the bill passed, and then it's really figuring out how do we take advantage of all the resources we have, our Junior League fellow members,
Yes.
ourselves, other community partners, to just go out there and, you know, give people either the courage or help them out a little bit to figure out how do I, you know, structure a breakfast
Yes.
program in my school.
Right.
And to counter some of the pressure that they might get of why it might not be a good idea. But of course, I think the thing that impacted me the most was when it was before the bill passed, and we were talking about the pros and the cons, and someone said that some schools are feeding the children before they take the tests, but not the other days, because it helps their scores.
Are you kidding?
I mean, how horrifying is that?
Like someone had the nerve to say that out loud?
Perhaps we should feed them every day.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
horrible.
definitely is a reduction in behavior problems.
Of course.
And also a lack of tardiness, because they're more on
Now it's
time
like,
for
oh,
school,
get to
knowing
eat.
that
Yeah.
you know there is the breakfast in the
Right,
classroom.
right. Yeah,
so-
no, that's wonderful. Because again, who wants to go hungry?
Yeah.
And you're thinking about food. You're not thinking about learning. You're
Right.
starving to death.
Right.
Here. So that's a wonderful thing. That's exciting.
It's funny, you asked at the beginning, one of the questions was, why did we join?
Yeah.
And I don't think you know this when you do it, but when you join, you meet all these extraordinary women. And I just wanted to say that one of the amazing things I found is going to a state level. I wouldn't have met somebody from Montclair or from Westfield before. And this has been an amazing experience
is.
because we draw on each other's
Yes.
strengths, just as human beings. Sometimes, you know, things are difficult and we want to get to something, but we'll have to support each other by taking up the slack, doing some research that somebody else couldn't finish. And that's a great thing. So, you know, I would have met you, Sharon, which is
I
one
loved
of the
her. She
joys.
was so much fun when she was the president of SPAC. Oh my gosh, just, again, the passion that she has. If you didn't have as much passion, you sure had it after you met Kate.
Well, do you remember one of the big things that we do that's kind of scary, but very fun, and I remember very vividly doing this with you, was our walk to Washington.
Oh my, I was going to say, let's talk about that, 'cause that is exciting.
Well, then you need your comfy shoes.
Comfy shoes for sure.
Yes.
So the walk to Washington is in April, usually in the spring.
It's colder, actually. I think it's
February,
sometimes in
March.
January, February,
And it's organized by the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. And, you know, as you know, there's you know, people that come from our legislators join, business people come, different advocates for different issues come. We go as well. And it's called Walk to Washington, even though it's on a train, because of all that walking up and down.
We're walking up and down that train, that whole ride.
It's a great opportunity to really talk about you know, the issues in front of women and children and the environment. I haven't been there yet. It's on my bucket list.
It's
but these gals have many times.
And it's a great experience. I mean, we talk about training. That is training in action, because
training on your feet.
you have to talk about one issue that you've decided to talk about to however many, 30, 40 people. By the 10th person, you're actually getting pretty good at it. So, and suddenly by the end of the train journey, you feel like you're actually, you know, on top of that subject too, because we're all learning these things, and we pick out new subjects every year that we want to discuss and raise awareness of. So it's a great experience.
It is. I think I've been twice, and it was phenomenal. It really was. You know, again, that's when I was just starting, you know, the business, and it was just great to go and talk to people about these things, because I had nothing to do with politics or anything like that before. So my girlfriend said, you have to join for that reason, you know, and that's why I did join, and it was just really wonderful. And just, you know, the first time I went, you're like, come on, you can do it. And by the second time I went, it's like, yes, you know. And then just meeting these wonderful people that can help us to take that journey to another level is incredible. So that's just a wonderful thing.
And
so
then once you're down there, you have the dinner, the congressional dinner, as well as what we do is we coordinate different meetings with our representatives, the New Jersey representatives, the next day. So it's a chock full 2 days.
Well, I remember when Sharon and I went down, we really made it hard on ourselves. We decided we were going to jump right off that train and just run across the hill, because it's often better to get meetings with congressmen and congresswomen.
On a
now
Thursday,
we have a congresswoman, which is exciting.
Yes, that's wonderful.
But we, at that point, only had congressmen we could meet with. But then you have to go right across the hill. You have to cross past the Capitol building, and we had to take our little overnight bags and, you know, get there as quickly as we could, because we only had a couple of hours and try to fit in a couple of meetings. And it was amazing to do that, and then really have one-on-one time with those elected representatives and talk in big pictures. You know, when I was talking at a national level about topics, which is another way of sort of going from local to state to national. And that was a great time to feel that we by the time we'd come off that train, we had our topics totally down.
We had it down packed for sure. You know.
I mean, if you think about that, that's so spectacular. You know, just a regular everyday person. And you know, the scope of influence that you both had on that afternoon. And we were talking as we drove down in the car, you know, about our kids. And, you know, we're models for them that, you know, things aren't really limited. If they're not happy with the way something is going, then we can give them point-by-point direction on where to go to get it fixed.
Exactly.
So it really kind of showcases for them how they should lead their life.
And I say that, you know, we really need to get this down to the level of elementary school, teaching them at that age about advocacy, because it's so important. You know, a lot of people, there's a lot of adults that don't know how to do it. So if we really get this into the schools or have people doing this at home, this is going to be powerful. So
it's very empowering to oneself, because now you have the tools to make the changes that you've always wanted to make. So it's a wonderful opportunity.
I think that's a great idea, though. And education
and I have to,
campaign.
I'm sorry, but we're out of time. Oh, no. I know. 29 minutes came and went. But until next time, thank you. Bye-bye. I was like, I'm ready to go another 30 minutes.
I didn't even see this.
I know, I didn't get to
didn't
do
even
that.
notice
I
that.
know, I'm sorry. My mistake. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye.